room in there. You get about almost 60 bodies in there, I believe, in a day. Is that about right, Keith?
I think so, yeah.
And so it'll stay in there until it's dry and then moves on to the next day. While we're packing this area, because oftentimes this is where Jimmy's actually, he's also been here well over 20. How long have you been here now, Jimmy? 23 years. This is where our company started, right here. There's a guy, Orville Gibson, had this crazy idea that you shouldn't do flat top bull back mandolins. He kind of had something a little more in line with what Stradivarius was doing and had done. So he wanted to do these carved tops and carved backs and all this stuff. And originally he was doing it all out of solid pieces of wood, whatever pieces of wood he could borrow, whether it's some old desk or whatever. He would just get wood from wherever. But he created the S-style mandolin. He created the A-style mandolin. And the reason I like to bring this up is because that signature never really went away. Even when you got to electric guitars, he still had the carved top, even though it was solid. But it's a motif that carried on all the way through. And without these, that radical idea, because everything else was flat. You know, they thought he was nuts. So what did Lloyd do to contribute to that? What Lloyd did, he basically made some tweaks on this thing, which was like he changed the neck pitch a little, he changed the scale, he changed some of the graduations, because what he would do, he took this thing to the next logical step. Who knows if Orville had stayed with the company and, you know, fast forward if he'd ever gotten there. But Lloyd Lord knew acoustically there were some things that needed to happen, and he made some tweaks. And he was very exacting about the thicknesses all the way, starting in the middle out to the edge, making sure the recurve was about 3 mil. So Lloyd took that basic chassis and made it even more lively. And then it was actually, a lot of people think it was a huge success with the F5. It kind of wasn't. And mandolins were, but this didn't really take off. Can anybody tell me, let me see, how do I want to ask this question? If you pick up the famous mandolin player, who would you say right off the bat?
Richard Skaggs.
Okay, early on.
Monroe.
Yep, Monroe. And the most famous date in mandolin production, July 9, 1923. That was the date on Bill Monroe's mandolin that he had. And if Bill Monroe had not picked up that mandolin and made bluegrass music on, who knows how popular the F5 would have become, you know, on and on. We sold a lot of A's, lots of A styles, and a fair amount of F's, but there are only a couple hundred Lloyd Lord, you know, signed F's out there. And they sell for, you know, a couple $100,000 themselves. If you can buy one. So, I only wanted to stop here to point that out. This is kind of like the beginnings that gets carried all the way through.